A single misplaced die strike from 6 decades ago might be slumbering in a dusty jar on your mantel, waiting to catapult its owner into collector superstardom. Picture a humble penny, minted in the early 1960s, when loose change jingled freely in every pocket, suddenly transforming into a prize that seasoned numismatists chase around the globe. Our first stop on today's journey explores the 1961 United States 1-cent piece, an innocuous copper-plated zinc disc that, when you know what to look for, can stop you in your tracks every time you slide it under a loop. The story begins in Philadelphia, where the 1961 Lincoln cent was struck in its billions. The design, introduced back in 1909 to mark President Lincoln's centennial birth anniversary, had become such a fixture of American life that by 1961, most people hardly gave their pennies a second thought. Yet in the mint's frenzied assembly line, where dies were rapidly replaced and blanks fed through by the thousands each hour, imperceptible shifts sometimes occurred. A slight rotation of the die carrier, a minute misalignment during hubbing. These tiny mechanical hiccups created a small handful of coins that carried an imprint of imperfection forever etched into their surfaces. Among these anomalies, the most celebrated variety is the 1961 double die obverse. To the untrained eye, the penny appears identical to millions of others, but under magnification, each letter above Lincoln's profile seems to echo itself. The Liberty gives the game away with faint duplicates cloaked alongside the main inscription, and the date's numerals reveal parallel lines that shouldn't be there. This isn't just a curiosity. It's a snapshot of a moment when manufacturing precision faltered, immortalized in metal. What makes that double die truly exceptional is its scarcity. Professional grading services have authenticated fewer than a dozen mint state examples from Philadelphia, and only a smattering of circulated specimens have surfaced over the decades. While lower grade, worn examples might bring in a few $1,000s, pieces graded MS65 and above can cross into the 5- and 6-figure territory. In fact, the auction record for a pristine MS66 shines at approximately $75,000, an eye-watering figure for an object that left the mint worth exactly 1 cent. But the variety doesn't end there. Collectors also treasure planchet errors from 1961, blanks that emerged with uneven copper plating, laminates where layers peeled away to reveal a silvery core, or clipped planchets with thin crescent-shaped edges. These oddities, born from imperfect metal preparation, are so rare that examples in decent condition have changed hands for anywhere between $5,000 and $12,000 at specialized auctions. Their allure lies in the unpredictability. No two defective planchets are identical, each one narrating its own tale of metallurgical mishap. Given the penny's astonishing mintage, over 3 billion across Philadelphia and Denver combined, it's remarkable that such errors escaped quality control. Yet that very volume means plenty of collectors comb through pocket change, hoping to stumble upon a hidden gem. Decades of hunting have taught enthusiasts to inspect each cent under strong light, rotating the coin slowly to catch any glint of doubling or inconsistency in color or thickness. That thrill, the possibility that any spendable cent could be worth more than a car payment, fuels yearly treasure hunts in garages, parking meters, and coin rollers alike. Market trends for the 1961 cent have seen steady appreciation over the past 2 decades. In the early 2000s, an MS63 double die might have traded hands for around $5,000. Today, that same grade typically sells for closer to $15,000 as new collectors enter the hobby and institutions vie for registry quality examples. The story behind each sale adds color. One MS65 specimen once belonged to a renowned Midwestern dealer whose archive was dispersed in a landmark 2015 auction. Another passed quietly in a private treaty, fetching over $80,000 without any public record. These private sales underscore a hidden marketplace where confidentiality and discreet negotiations often outpace public listings. Condition remains the cardinal rule when assessing value. In circulated grades, where softening of the high points and gentle copper loss have dulled original surfaces, a doubled die might fetch $800 to $1,200. But once you ascend into the mint state realm, values escalate rapidly. An MS62 can reach $3,000, MS63 around $10,000, and each incremental grade can add thousands more. At the top end, MS65 and above is the stratosphere, where only a handful exist and auction competition sends prices soaring into six figures. Color also plays a pivotal role in a coin's desirability. The Lincoln Cents copper plating can range from deep brown to bright red, often fading to orange over decades of circulation. True gem mint state coins that retain full, original red luster, what collectors call red, or RD color designation, command a premium. Compare two MS65 double dies, one boasting uniform red surfaces, the other showing patchy brown spots, and you'll find the red example might sell for 2 to 3 times more. Collectors even debate which is more attractive, a flawless pinkish red sheen versus a golden orange patina that bespeaks understated elegance. Beyond die errors and color variations, there's also the subtler world of die cracks, die breaks, and cut errors. Fine hairline cracks, sometimes radiating from the rim toward the central design, can develop when dies fatigue after tens of thousands of strikes. Some collectors seek these as die marker pieces, believing that certain cracks or break patterns help identify coins from specific die pairs. A dramatic cut error, a chunk of metal missing near the rim, can be visually striking and occasionally worthy of $1,000 to $2,000, even in lower grades. Stories accompanying prized coins add another layer of mystique. One of the most famous anecdotes involves a postal worker who, sorting mail in 1978, slipped a handful of cents through a 10 times magnifier and discovered a 1961 double die. She reportedly spent several nerve-wracking weeks trying to verify its authenticity before consigning it to a major auction house, where it realized $50,000. That tale reminds collectors that even routine jobs or hobbies can yield numismatic gold. For those who already possess a 1961 cent, a close examination under 10 times to 20 times magnification is the first step. Look for doubling on Lincoln's cheek and jawline, doubling in God We Trust, and the date numerals. Also examine the mint mark on Denver pieces. Although significantly rarer double dies have not been confirmed for 1961D, collectors stay vigilant for any anomalies, from repunched mint marks to misaligned letters. Even subtle die states, how advanced the wear on the die was when the coin struck, can influence value, as early die state examples often yield crisper devices and sharper lines. Grading is another crucial factor. Certified examples from PCGS, NGC, and Annex carry population reports that inform scarcity. According to PCGS, only 7 examples of the double die obverse graded MS65 or higher exist, while NGC lists a comparable handful. These population figures help collectors gauge what they might need to pay to secure a registry-quality coin, or to ensure a purchase is not overpriced relative to existing examples. So next time you sift through a roll of cents or pick up a stray penny from a tabletop, give it more than a passing glance. Under the surface, you might find a whisper of doubling or a flash of copperplate gone awry, and that whisper could echo not just across your collector's albums, but across the auction floor as well. With that in mind, ready your loop and steady your hands. Our next segment will transport us to the modern era, exploring the curious case of the 2017 penny and the errors that have made it a 21st century legend. Sliding out of the mid-20th century story of misaligned dies, let's fast forward to just a few years ago. Yet in many ways, the 2017 Lincoln Cent has already become the talk of 21st century collectors. Coinage might feel like a relic of earlier eras, but the 2017 penny reminds us that even in our digital age, mint mechanics can hiccup leaving behind errors that turn a 1-cent piece into a modern treasure. While billions rolled off presses under strict quality protocols, savvy enthusiasts soon discovered that beneath the familiar profile of Lincoln lay a handful of anomalies worth chasing. When you hold a 2017 penny, at face value, it looks identical to its predecessors, a copper-plated zinc planchet bearing Lincoln's bust on the obverse and the Union Shield on the reverse, a design that debuted just a few years earlier to commemorate the 150th anniversary of the Civil War's end. Yet, hidden among those billions are coins that escaped perfect manufacture, offering up doubled dies, off-center strikes, and bizarre lamination flaws. The contrast between modern minting precision and occasional slip UPS creates a thrilling sense that your next pocket find could be newsworthy. One of the most captivating varieties is the double die obverse, where Lincoln's visage and the inscriptions show subtle doubling. Unlike the dramatic doubling seen on classic mid-century cents, the 2017 double die is often faint, requiring careful angling under a bright light to reveal doubled letters, especially around "In God We Trust" and the date. Once identified, these coins become instantly collectible. In lower circulated grades, they fetch hundreds, but in pristine mint state, they cross into the low thousands, with exceptionally clear examples topping $5,000 in niche auctions. Off-center strikes from 2017 have also built a devoted following. These occur when planchets misfeed slightly during production, resulting in part of the design missing from the coin's field. Depending on the degree of displacement, values can range dramatically. A mild off-center of a few percent might sell for $50 to $100, whereas extreme rotations, where Lincoln's head teeters on the rim, can command over $1,000, especially in uncirculated grades where a touch of luster still frames the misaligned design. But perhaps the most talked about modern error is the so-called small date versus large date controversy. In 2017, collectors noticed that pennies bearing the date sometimes display a slightly smaller or larger font, leading to debates over whether these represent two distinct die pairs or simply expected die wear. The difference is subtle. Compare two coins side by side, and you'll see that in the small date variety, the curve of the 7 sits closer to the rim, whereas in the large date, it floats a bit further inward. While grading services have yet to universally recognize this split as a formal variety, the speculation alone has driven collectors to pay premiums for coins that fit the rarer profile, often 30 to 50% above standard pricing. Lamination flakes add another layer of excitement. These arise when the outer copper plating peels or flakes away from the zinc core, sometimes leaving a silvery patch that looks almost hand-painted. In many wards, lamination errors go unnoticed, yet sharp-eyed hobbyists prize them, auctioning off the most dramatic specimens for several $100s apiece. For the true error enthusiast, lamination combined with other anomalies, say a lamination piece on a slightly off-center coin, can multiply the value even further. Beyond the mechanical oddities, the 2017 cent boasts fascinating stories that bridge the gap between casual finders and dedicated collectors. Take the tale of the New England bartender who discovered a 2017 off-center penny in his tip jar. He wasn't searching for coins. He was counting change at the end of a long shift, spotting a blank crescent where Lincoln should have been. He sold it to a local dealer for $350 that very day. That quick flip underscores how approachable and potentially profitable the modern penny game can be. Auction records for top-tier 2017 errors continue to climb. In 2023, one of the sharpest double dies graded MS67 sold for nearly $6,200 after fierce bidding, proof that collectors are willing to invest significant sums for high-grade modern rarities. Similarly, a Type 2 small date penny in flawless MS66 sold privately for close to $4,500, despite lacking formal designation by major grading companies. These prices suggest that modern coins, often overlooked in favor of older issues, can generate astonishing enthusiasm when they exhibit visible anomalies. Condition remains a critical factor for 2017 penny values. In circulated grades, where bag marks and light abrasions dull the surfaces, errors still hold value, but at more modest levels. A noticeable double die might fetch $150 to $300, and a moderately off-center strike perhaps $75 to $150, depending on eye appeal. However, once you secure an uncirculated coin in mint state, values jump. An MS63 double die will usually sell for around $800, while MS65 examples break $2,000. Because these coins were minted only a few years ago, examples in MS67 and MS68 are extremely scarce, thus pulling in the steepest premiums. Luster and color also influence modern penny pricing. Collectors often look for that satin-like glow on the copper plating, signifying minimal handling. Even a coin just 5 years old can show bag marks or slight tone changes. A glowing RD designation, where the original red color shines through, can boost a coin's value dramatically. Compare two MS65 double dies. A fully red, brilliant example could be offered at $2,200, while a toned or slightly faded sibling might only reach $1,400. With modern coins, some collectors prize that untouched, fresh from the mint appearance more than subtle color variations. Grading services have begun to document these modern varieties in detail. PCGS and NGC population reports list several hundred 2017 double dies and off-center pieces, but only a fraction achieve grades above MS66. Those population figures guide pricing. When PCGS lists 40 examples of MS66 double dies and only 5 at MS67, collectors know exactly how rare that top grade really is. That transparency, combined with the increasing popularity of modern era coins, makes the market both dynamic and data-driven. Modern era collecting also offers an accessible entry point. Unlike many pre-1930 rarities that carry astronomical price tags, 2017 errors start at modest levels. A beginner can spend under $100 and become part of a vibrant community, sharing photos, insights, and sale alerts. For seasoned collectors, modern pennies provide a fresh frontier, a chance to apply decades of experience to a new field of study where population reports are current and the next big find could be mint fresh. Soon, as these young errors age, their stories will only deepen. A 2017 double die graded MS67 today might become the centerpiece of a half-century retrospective, admired for its untouched state and proximity to the digital payment revolution. Collectors who recognize these coins now stand at the forefront of a burgeoning niche, one likely to flourish as numismatic interest in modern eras continues to grow. So, whether you're scanning a fresh roll from the bank, browsing an online lot, or simply sorting change in your drawer, keep your eyes peeled for those subtle anomalies, the whisper of doubled letters, the eccentric misalignment of a design, or the patchwork texture of peeling plating. A 2017 penny might seem mundane among your everyday change, but in the right hands and under the right light, it can become a symbol of modern minting's rare misfires, a testament to the enduring allure of coin collecting in any era.